Hello my friends, happy Tuesday. It is the last Tuesday of the month, which means it's virtual card class day. I actually had in-person card class yesterday, so today I'm going to share those projects with you. And as always, if you can't attend our live class, you can always join in virtually. And so I am going to, let me just go back here. Hang on one second. I'm just trying to get me on the page so that I can see comments if there are any. So as always, if you shop with me this week, you can get the card kits for free with an order of at least $30 or more. I will send out the card kits for you, and it will be the 4 cards we're going to do today. I guess we're just going to leave it like that today because it's not cooperating. So I have 4 cards to make with you today. They are all pretty simple, but you will get the kits to make those if you make a purchase this week, so before the end of August typically. So it usually runs from the last Tuesday of the month to the last day of the month. So any orders will get those kits automatically. You do not need a host code or anything. Those don't exist anymore. So from now until the end of the month, if you place an order of at least $30 or more, you'll get those card kits for free. So let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and turn this camera around. I'm hoping my cat behaves. I have the door open and the air conditioner off. It's not too hot today, but I may have to turn the air conditioner on later if it gets too hot. It's just really noisy, so I try not to. And the cat's not going to behave. T. No, you have to stay down. She only comes on the table when I am live or when I'm on a Zoom. So if she doesn't behave, we'll have to close her out. But for now, we'll let her stay for the time being. So, I use the rolly chair, so that kind of scares her a little bit. So that's good. Kind of get her away from the area a little bit for a minute. All right, so let's go ahead and start with our first card. I'm going to go ahead and pull some supplies. So when we do card class, it's all kind of prepped for them. So I have it all set here. So I'm just going to pull things out and put them away as I do this. So let me show you what the card kits look like when I ship them out. So if you purchase, you'll get a little package in the mail. It has the class instructions and then the 4 card kits inside. It doesn't include embellishments or ribbons or anything like that, so you'll have to supply your own. And of course you can use whatever stamp sets you have on hand, because I do use several different ones for class just because they're set up in stations, so I don't want people having to share cardstock between people, or stamps between tables, because then it makes it really complicated. So let's go ahead and start with I'm using the Scenic Adventures. Let me show you the stamp set really quick. Scenic Adventures is the stamp set I'm using for this card. And I did pair it with a different greeting because I didn't really want any of the greetings that were part of that set. So I used the Beautiful Motifs greetings for this one. So you can see this is the stamp set I used. I used the I'm Here For, or no, You've Been On My Mind is the one I used for this one. So I'm going to take the cloud image from the stamp set, and I'm going to ink that up in the Lost Lagoon. And again, if you get the card kits, you can make these any way you want. I'm going to stamp it off and then stamp it on my cardstock, because I want it kind of a secondary feature. So you can see that. Okay, and then I'm going to just put this stuff away as I go to kind of clean up my room. Imagine that. And I'm going to take Old Olive. And we have the 2 different trees from the stamp set. So I have a little skinny tree and a little plump tree. And we're going to go ahead and stamp those a few times on the paper. So I'm going to actually stamp off. And then I'm going to... Oh, I lied. I'm not going to stamp off. I'm going to ink it up. I'm going to stamp directly on my paper. and then again right beside it without re-inking, like that. And I'm going to do the same thing with the shorter tree. And I'm going to ink that and stamp. And then do the same thing, stamp immediately again without re-inking. Okay, and then I'm going to do the large tree again. And we're just going to stamp that like that. And then I'm going to do the small tree again, but I'm going to stamp off. So we keep that dark light trend going. Like that. Okay? So that is that part of the process. And I'm going to put this away. I was trying to see if the computer would work again, but it's not really. So we'll do that. Okay. And then I'm going to, nope, that doesn't work either. Okay. Oh, I see there's a comment. Ah, here we go. I got it. Hello, Linda. All right. So now I have some of our two-tone cardstock, and I'm going to layer this on top of the white on top of the green, but I'm going to first do a little tearing. So I'm going to just tear towards me. So whichever, like there's a light and a dark, so if you want the light side forward, you would flip it to the light side and tear towards you. I want the dark side forward, so I'm going to flip it to me and then just tear. I'm just doing a tiny tear, hoping that I can still fit this in here because it's pretty tight. Not really. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take my trimmer. I'm going to cut that in half. I was kind of limited on what I had for green cardstock. This always tells me what cardstock I need to order when I'm doing card class prep, because I have to be very strategic about which cardstock colors I use based on how much or which ones I have the most of and can actually complete a full class with. So I'm going to just use my grid paper to help me get this straight and line that up, and then we'll do the same thing with this. And I went over a little bit, so I'm just going to fold that excess over. And then same thing here. I'm going to use my grid paper to help me get it semi-straight anyway. Okay, and then I have some of the Timeless Plaid pattern paper. Oh, and I'm out. I knew this was going to happen, so I prepared. I'm going to just go ahead and open a new one. Hi, Michelle. And we will finish here with the card, the first card. All right, let me get that in here. Like that. Put the case back together. Okay. And you do need significantly less pressure with the Stampin' Seal than we use on other adhesives. Alright, so that goes down flat, and then this is going to go down flat as well. I'm going to kind of put it a little more towards the top. Yes, I like to tear and cut, or at least tear, but I didn't have a big enough piece of paper, so I had to cut it in order to make it fit. But I do love that look, especially with the new two-tone cardstock. It's just really kind of a fun and simple technique. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment. I pre-punched a 1.5-inch circle on crumb cake cardstock. And I'm going to just go ahead and stamp my sentiment. I did catch a tiny bit of the edge there. I'm going to use my sand eraser to kind of get rid of that. There we go. All right, and so then I'm going to actually pop this up, but I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive in the middle here, and I wonder if there's enough here. Probably not, so I'm going to throw that out. I'm going to do this one. And I just kind of make some loops. So the card goes this way, or the sentiment goes this way. So I'm just going to put that in the middle and then loop. And I'm Come on. Sometimes with the twine, it wants to go its own way. Whoop. And then the dimensionals will kind of help that stay put too. So I'm just doing a quick little loop-de-loo here so that, oh, come on. And sometimes you have to go with the way it wants to go. So if it wants to go that way, we'll let it go that way. There. And then I'm going to cut the excess. Oop. Oh, goodness. I just pulled all my loops out. There we go. Okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. So now you can see I've got kind of like that little loop-de-loo on both sides of the thing, of the sentiment. And then I'm just going to kind of tape all that messiness down. So just attach that here. And you could add some Wink Stella to your trees if you wanted. I'm going to actually add some of the little gems here. I don't even know what these are from. Honestly, these are probably retired, but they matched and they were in my stash, so I used them. And there we go. There's card number 1. Super cute, super simple, really easy to recreate using whatever stamp sets you have, because it's really just trees and sentiments. So that's pretty easy to recreate for most of us, since most of us have a plethora of stamps to choose from, right? So that's card number 1. And then we will move on to our next card, which features that same Timeless Plaid paper, but it's a different card. I like to surprise you with the cards. So this is our card guts here. Oh, where's my extra heart? Oh, there it is. Okay. So this one's kind of simple, very simple, but a great way to use up some pattern paper. This is a great layout for 6x6 paper, because I just cut this at 3 inches. So you get 2 pieces out of each sheet, and then I just chopped off at 5.5. So you're not wasting a lot of paper. So the measurement is 3 by 5.5. So you get 2 full pieces, and there's very little waste. So this is a great layout to do with 6x6 paper, and you can do some mass production of some really super simple cards. I'm going to just trim this a little bit because it's a little long. And before I attach this down, the traffic noise makes me think of ocean waves coming in. There you go. See? It's the ocean. Let's pretend that's what it is and not the traffic, because that would be much nicer. If I was that close to the beach, that would be fabulous. That would be a dream. I do really love, it's funny because everybody's like, oh, you should go to the beach more often. You live right there. And I very rarely get to go to the beach, which is sad. But I actually don't really like to swim either. And because I don't like the feel of salt water when you get out of it. I don't like that sticky feeling. And I also don't like not knowing what's in the water with me. So I typically don't swim in any water but pool water. Unless I'm super, super hot, and then I might actually go in. But I do really, really love to go to sleep to the sound of waves. And sometimes I will even put one of those meditation apps on that has that as an option. I will do that, or I'll sometimes do a rainstorm too, because I do love to go to sleep to the sound of rain too. But yeah. I really should go to the beach more often. We went to the pond this past weekend because that was the choice of our granddaughter. She was here with us overnight on Saturday, and she wanted to go to the pond. So we went, but again, I didn't go in. I'm not really a big swimmer. I never really learned to swim when I was a kid. So, and I almost drowned when I was really young, when I was like 2. So, I tend not to like the water, but I do really love the sound of it. So that's what I'm going to think of now, Linda, when I hear the traffic noise. I'm going to think of ocean waves instead. So much better. Hey, Anne. All right, so this one you can see it's been super simple. I just taped that panel down. I wrapped my ribbon around first. I'm going to do a little happy birthday greeting. Super simple. You could change up the pattern paper and use this same format for any type of card. I'm using Night of Navy. And that's another tip too. So even though there's no Night of Navy in here, the blue and brown tones work really well with the darker navy twine. I had to do it this way because that was the only twine I had. I am out of linen thread again. I don't know how that always happens. So I just used the navy, and I'm like, you know what? The navy works great. It's just a little pop of color on an otherwise pretty simple card. So I think that works really nicely. All right, so I am going to pop this up. This is the only thing I popped up on this card. It is getting a little warm in here, but I think I'll be able to make it for the whole live without having to put the air on. So I just kind of taped that down to the card. And then I have these little hearts. These are from the Bumblebee Builder Punch. The Bee Builder Punch, this one here. So it has a large and a small. So I just used those to kind of add a little more interest to the card. When I'm making cards for card class, I try not to do a ton of embossing or die cutting because one, it makes my prep work way longer, and two, it's sometimes good just to kind of see ways to do cute and simple, easy cards, right? Nothing too fancy. Okay. Yes. I do. The ocean is very soothing to me. Like, I love the soothing nature. I actually think I'm going to use the white ones for this of the ocean. That's what, honestly, any body of water, I just love it to sit near it because it's good reflective time, right? The beach because of the sound of the cars going by. That's what Linda just said. She said it sounded like I was near the beach. So I like that idea. So I'm going to just go ahead and go with that. And I'm just adding some little embellishments there. And there is card number 2 for our 4 cards for today. Cute, right? Super simple. All right, and that one, all I did was use the sentiment. So I actually had the beautiful butterflies is where that sentiment came from, but you could use any sentiment you wanted. I knew I just wanted something that was a little on the longer side. All right, so I'm trying to kind of keep my desk clean as we go. I am saving some of the extras because I had some extra pieces just in case we had boo-boos in class. All right, so next one by Michelle. All right. Next card we have, oh, this is one of my favorites. I love this bundle, and actually this will be a good time for me to share my card class to go this month. So let me do some stamping for you. This one is a 2-step stamping project. What did I do with the card I just made? Oh, here it is. I mixed it all in. I'm trying to keep myself organized over here. All right, so we're using, and this one I do use quite a bit of the stamp set. I'll show you what it is. Let me grab all the pieces out here because there's several colors. There's some ink blending. This was probably the most involved card of the day yesterday, but I think it's one of the best and goes along with our ocean conversation. So let's keep that one out. This is the stamp set I'm using. Stamps, and I used the dies too, but not for this card. So this is the stamp set that I'm using for my card class to go this month. So this is such a fun stamp set. So card class to go, everything is shipped to you. This class, I would say you probably want the bundle because, I mean, like this, I will cut out for you, but like I stamped some of this with the stamp set too. So you can see it's a hybrid bundle. So it has the embossing folder as well as the stamp set and dies. But these are the cards for card class to go. Super cute. I'm in love with them. And so they feature the new in colors, and that is open very short time through the end of the week, I think. And then that order will be placed before the end of the month. And I'm a little late, so I'm hoping to kind of move the process really quickly so that you guys will have the kits by mid-September is the plan. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with this one. I think I like this card better and better. Like every card I do with this is better. So I love this one. All right, so I'm just taking my blending brush and some Pool Party ink. I'm going to blot it off a little bit, although there's not a lot of ink left on this, so I don't think I really have to worry about blotting too much. But I'm going to get some blue back there. It's like a blue-green, so it's a good oceany color. So I used cloud cover on this card base, but cloud cover doesn't have an ink pad. I mean, I do have an ink pad because they sold the ones that they originally created, but because the ink pad wasn't up to par, it wasn't always stamping the true color, they pulled it. And so while you can get the ink pad, I don't know if it's still available, it was for a short time, it may or may not match the color, the true color, so that's why they discontinued it. So I just used the Pool Party as the background, and then I'm gonna take the Secret Sea. I think this is like my new favorite color. I'm glad you're enjoying the cards, Linda. Thanks for watching. All right, I'm gonna just take the big sailboat image from the Sunrise Sailing. I'm gonna kind of stamp it towards the top of that white piece of paper that I had. Okay, isn't that such a fun image, even by itself? It's just awesome. All right, while I have that navy or the Secret Sea out, I'm going to actually take my sentiment as well, which just says best wishes. And I'm going to stamp that at the bottom. Okay, and then I can put this away for the moment. I think I'm actually done with it, so I'll put it away. All right, and then I'm going to take the little, like, sail accents and some real red cardstock, or real red ink. We'll ink that up. And I'm going to just stamp that inside the sails. Okay. There's that. The embossing folder is amazing for this. Yes, I love it. And I will show you, you can see it on this card. This is the just embossing, so it embosses the clouds, the sailboat, and the water. And then I did it on two-tone cardstock so I could sand it and kind of get that white accent. So really, really fun card. All right, so the last part of this one is we're gonna do the boat. So I'm using Crumb Cake, and I didn't stamp off. No, I think I'll leave it full strength. It dries a little bit once you stamp it. So it's kind of bold when you first do it, but it kind of dries. All right, so there is that cute little boat. I love it. All right, and then I'm gonna take some more of this Night of Navy. So it's not actually Secret Sea, but it's so close that it works. And I'm gonna just wrap this a couple of times right between the boat and my sentiment. Sentiment. I need to enunciate. All right, and then I'm just going to move this down a little bit. And we'll tie a little knot. You could do a bow if you wanted to. I always tie a knot first anyway. So I'm going to just trim that down. I'll leave it as a... Oh, I was supposed to actually tape this to this first, but that's fine. You know what I'll do? Is I'm going to go ahead and pop this then, so that there's room for that ribbon. You won't even know that I didn't do that on the first card. I taped it flat, the Secret Sea, and then popped it on the card. Maybe I'll double pop, or maybe I'll just do it flat on the card. I'll probably double pop because it's textured. So I actually used the birch embossing folder, which you can kind of see like the little birch thing there, but like once I put it on here, I think it looks more like water, and it works perfectly. So so that's a good little hack too. If you want some waves or water and you don't have the Gentle Waves embossing folder or the embossing folder that goes with this set, you can just use the birch. Cover up that little tree knot and you'll be fine. I'm gonna go ahead and pop this one up too. Yeah, this one's very nautical. The colors and everything is super nautical, but I love it. I think this is one of my favorite cards from card class yesterday. I always love to know which ones are your favorite too, so when we're done you guys can tell me. Alright, I'm going to go ahead put this here. Okay, and then I just had some of these golds, gems here. So I'll put some of these on here. Like that. And we'll do one over there. There we go. Alright. So that is card number 3. We're cruising right along here. I'll show you them all at the end too, so you can vote on which one's your favorite. That's number 3. Isn't that cute? I love that one. Alright, so next up, you just put this stuff over here until I can put those away. Extras go here. Box goes over here. Alright, last card for our card class today. This one's really pretty. I love the paper. And again, I'm not going to show it to you. I'm going to just stamp it. Alright, this one uses the Charming Day stamp set. I love this one. Even if you don't want to color, though, you can still use this one. I'm going to show you how. And let the paper be the focus. Something just rubbed on my leg like it was furry. So I was like, what was that? It was the cat. But I was like, for a minute there, that was the pause in my voice. The hesitation in my voice was my panic of what is crawling on my leg. It was just the cattail. All right, so we're going to take pecan pie, and I'm using the smaller flower image from the set. And I'm going to use this kind of as a background image. So I'm just going to kind of stamp this full strength, tone on tone, pecan pie ink with pecan pie cardstock all the way around the edge here. And thank you all so much for watching with me. If you're watching live or watching the replay, I truly appreciate it. So that's that. Just super simple little texture to the card. And I'm going to just tape this down to basic beige, which is this base color. Did you know we had basic beige? It was introduced, not this year. Was it last year? Maybe even the year before. I forget. But it's a really great neutral tone. It's a little greener, I think, than Crumb Cake. Also a little lighter than Crumb Cake, but I really do like it a lot. So then I'm using some of the Coordinating Charming Day. I forget what the name of the paper is, if it's the same or not, but floral, I think it's floral something, but it's beautiful. And so I'm using a little piece of that for this. And we're going to just pop this up in the center of the card. Isn't that paper gorgeous? Love it. And all of the patterns are really, really pretty. All right, let's do some dimensionals for this. Just pull those off. And center that on the card. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and I embossed again with that Birch embossing folder. So versatile. Berry Burst cardstock and just a little panel to go right across the center there. Okay. And then all I'm doing for sentiment is that same little flower and the pecan pie is the background of the floral paper basic beige. Yes, so the card base was basic beige, and then this is basic beige, and the color in here is basic beige as well. So that's where I took the color from. Yes, yes, yes. And then this is like that pecan pie color. It's a little bit darker, which is the color I'm using to ink. All right, so I'm just doing, I think this is 1 3/4 inch circle punch, I believe. Nope, it's a 2-inch circle. And that's it. I just stamped the floral image. I'm not going to color it or anything. That's kind of my trick usually when I don't really want to color for time's sake. I'll just stamp it on colored cardstock. Sometimes I die cut it. This time I didn't want to do that either. I just wanted a really super simple card. So we're just going to use that the way it is. And then I have the sentiment. Oops, I put the ink away again. Same sentiment here. So I'm going to use the basic beige. I'm sorry, the pecan pie again. It just says, "You made my day." Good for a little thank you card. Oh, I forget. This one kind of, it's a little slanted, I think. There we go. On the actual stamp. All right, so now I'm just going to take this. I'm going to cut it at an angle. And we're going to tuck that under here. So it'll go right about like that. I'm just going to use regular adhesive. Tape that down. I want it to just kind of hang off the side of that panel a little bit, like that. And then we will put this on with some dimensionals. Okay. And just going to put that right about there. Okay. And then I used the iridescent pearls for this one. And what I did is I used the pearls kind of like the center of the flower. So I used a couple of the large ones. And you could do 3 of the large ones. Maybe I will actually this time. I did 2 large and 1 little the last time, but I'm just going to do all of them in the large format. And then that's that. You could add some Wink of Stella to that if you wanted to too, but this one's a really pretty one too. Super simple, really easy to mass produce again if you needed to. But yeah, those were the 4 cards. So let me show you again which ones we made today, and you can tell me which one you like the best. So we had card number 1, which was featuring the Adventure Together stamp set. And then we had card number 2, super simple but cute. Card number 3 was that nautical sailboat, which goes well with my ocean noise today, right? Not really ocean noise, traffic noise, but we're going to call it ocean noise. And card number 4. So what do we think? Which ones were our favorite? I love this one and this one. I think those are my favorites. But if I had to pick one, it would definitely be the sailboat. I think that one's so fun. And I just love that stamp set. It's really fun to play with. So if you like that one, you can jump into my card class to go for the month because that's the stamp set we're featuring. But I'd love to hear which one is your favorite. Otherwise, thanks so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. As I said, any orders this week of at least $30 or more will get the 4 card kits sent to them. With the instructions. I don't know what I did with my little sample one here. Oh, here it is. So this is what it looks like. It comes with the little directions and then my little note as to where to find the tutorials, and then you get your card kits in there too. So you'll supply the stamps and the inks and all that stuff, but super fun way to kind of get your creative mojo going and substitute what you have and use what you have so that you can kind of get some crafting done without having to do a whole lot of thinking. Number 3, yeah, I love this one. I think that's my favorite. You like the last card? Awesome. Well, I love that you are here with me. Thank you so much. If you're watching on YouTube, please feel free to click subscribe. That always makes my day. And if you have any questions, you know where to find me. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye for now.